This is Cherish Periwinkle, an 8-year-old girl who has been reported missing. The last time she was seen was leaving a Walmart with this man. In the video, she looks very happy and excited, but she certainly wouldn't feel that way if she knew that the man beside her is a monster.
Bit me, man. Bit me.
Detectives immediately began investigating the case, desperate to find the child before the worst could happen. All of this happened on the night of July 21st, 2013. Cherish had planned to travel to California the next day to spend the summer with her dad, Billy Jerrio. Because of this, her mother, Rain Periwinkle, took her and her 2 sisters to Dollar General to do some shopping. It was around 8 o'clock in the evening when they arrived at the store, and Rain had only $100 to buy everything Cherish needed for the trip, including the ticket. On top of that, none of her daughters had eaten dinner, and she was very worried about not having enough money. But shortly after they entered the store, a security camera captured something even more concerning. A very suspicious white van pulled into the parking lot with completely dark tinted windows, and out came this man, later identified as 56-year-old Donald Smith. Smith was a registered sex offender with a long criminal record spanning over 3 decades. His record included 20 arrests, 9 of them for crimes involving children, as well as charges for theft, fraud, burglary, possession of illegal substances, and selling obscene materials. In addition, he had been arrested several times for performing indecent acts in front of an attempted abduction. To make matters even worse, at this time it had only been 21 days since he was released from prison for attempting to impersonate a Department of Children and Families agent to abduct the child. All of this makes it clear that he was not a good person, and definitely not someone trustworthy around children. So, as soon as he enters the store, the first thing Smith does is walk through the aisles, looking for his next victim. He spots Rain shopping with her daughters and starts following them closely, staring at Cherish and her sisters in a disturbing way. At one point, Rain was holding several bags, and seeing that she was struggling, Smith saw an opportunity to approach and offer to help. Additionally, since he had been watching the family for a while, he noticed that Cherish really liked a dress and asked her mother to buy it. However, after seeing the price, Rain told her they couldn't afford it because it was too expensive. Seeing that they seemed to be struggling financially, he decided to take advantage of the situation. Smith told Rain that he had a $150 Walmart gift card and was waiting for his wife to arrive so he could go there. He then asked if Rain would be interested in using part of the gift card and even offered her a ride to Walmart. Clearly, this was a very suspicious situation, especially because she had never seen this man before and he was being overly friendly. Even so, Rain thought that since he was an older man and his wife was supposed to arrive soon, she had nothing to worry about. What she didn't know was that everything he said was a lie. Smith was never married, and at that moment, he was simply looking for another victim. Additionally, when the family got to the van, Rain noticed several other signs that something was very wrong. The vehicle had tinted windows and curtains on the windows, as if Smith was trying to hide something. The van also had the middle seats removed, and the passenger seat was completely reclined. Clearly, this was not a good sign, but perhaps because she was really in need of money, Rain decided to ignore all of it and get into the van. Around 9 p.m., Walmart security cameras recorded the same white van arriving in the parking lot and captured the family getting out of the vehicle. Shortly after, another camera captures the moment when Rain and her daughters enter the store alone. At 9:30 p.m., Rain enters the children's shoe section. Meanwhile, her 3 daughters are seen walking alone around the store and playing in the nearby aisle. Up until this point, everything seems fine, but while they're shopping, the predator enters the store and starts looking for the family. Eventually, they run into each other, and Smith pretends to help Rain with her shopping in an attempt to get some time alone with her daughters. At that moment, Rain sees the man placing an item in her cart, but since he was going to pay for his purchases, she decided not to worry about it. But this was a big mistake, as later investigations revealed that what he placed in the cart was a rope, and that was the only item he tried to buy at the store. In other words, from the beginning, he was planning to do something terrifying to that family, and if Rain had paid more attention, she might have been able to prevent everything that was about to happen. Since no one was suspicious of Smith at that moment, he simply continued following the family while coldly watching each of the girls. At one point, the predator manages to get a moment alone with Cherish and helps her try on a pair of shoes. Rain was very distracted with the shopping, and since she hadn't noticed anything else suspicious about Smith, she decided to trust him and left her daughter with him. Once again, Smith decided to take advantage of the situation. Around 10 p.m., he and Cherish separated from the family, and Smith took the girl to the children's clothing section. During this time, they disappear for about 10 minutes, probably while Cherish goes to the changing room to try on some clothes. Although no one can say for certain, it's likely that this was when the abuse began, and this was the moment when Smith decided that Cherish would be his victim. After that, another 30 minutes passed, and during this time, Rain remained focused on shopping, while Smith continued to get closer and closer to Cherish. Seeing that he had completely gained the trust of the girl's mother, the predator decided to put his terrifying plan into action. Around 10:38 p.m., Cherish is seen talking alone with Smith in the shoe aisle. They spend some time together, and then we see Cherish briefly talking to her mother before running back to join Smith again. According to Rain, at that point, her daughter came up to ask if she could go to the store's McDonald's to buy some cheeseburgers with Smith. Since Cherish hadn't eaten dinner yet, she seemed excited about the idea, and Rain didn't think much of it because she knew her daughters were hungry, so she allowed the girl to go with him. At this point, the cameras show the two of them walking toward the front of the McDonald's, but it is clearly closed. But instead of going back to where the family was, the predator walked toward the exit to leave the store, with Cherish following closely behind. At this moment, the two were seen by the store's cameras and several customers, but unfortunately, no one realized that a crime was taking place. Probably because Smith was an older man, it was easy to assume that he was just Cherish's grandfather, and since she was following him on her own, it was impossible for anyone to suspect anything. Just a few minutes later, the predator had already placed Cherish in his van, and the vehicle was captured by the cameras leaving its parking lot and heading toward a dark alley, taking an exit onto the highway. Meanwhile, Rain continued shopping peacefully, unaware that her daughter had been kidnapped. Around 11 p.m., when Walmart announced it was closing, Rain went to the checkout to have Smith pay for her purchases, but neither he nor Cherish were there. At that moment, she starts to panic, which is clear in the footage, as she begins walking through the store, searching for Cherish or Smith. But unable to find anything, she decides to call the police and report the kidnapping.
I'm at Walmart. I think my daughter's been taken.
What do you mean?
Taken by a stranger. I can't find her.
Throughout the call, Rain sounds terrified and reveals disturbing details about the case.
What color shirt?
I don't remember what clothes she's wearing because I'm panicking right now. I'm trying not to panic.
Okay, and she was last seen with this man?
Yes, he said he was going to McDonald's and he hasn't been there because the store is closed right now. I had a strange feeling about him when I first met him. He took her to the dressing room twice, and I was hoping that she would be okay. And I was looking at the shoes, and I didn't want him to think that I was overly protective, freaking out. But now they're not here, and I find it very odd because he knew that.
The police do their best to gather as much information as possible to have a chance of finding Cherish, but the more they hear about what happened, the more desperate the situation becomes.
He said his name is Dawn. He said he was supposed to meet his wife here, and his wife never showed up, and I couldn't figure out why. His wife didn't even show up at Dollar General.
And he told you that y'all were going to meet his wife at the Walmart?
Yes. First, she was supposed to show up at Dollar General, and then he was going to meet with her at Walmart. And we've been here probably 2 hours, and she didn't show up, and I have this cart full of clothes that he said he was going to pay for with a $100 gift card, and I had a bad feeling. I thought, well, I feel like pinching myself because this is too good to be true. So I got to the checkout. He's not here. Isn't here. And I'm hoping he's not here right now because I've had that done to me. And it's not fun. she's supposed to go to California in the morning, the plane. And he knows, as I told him this, he knew when the store was closing. I had a bad feeling about him. He was giving too much attention. He wanted her to buy these really tall shoes that were women's shoes, and I told him no. I said they're too high for her. I wouldn't even wear shoes that high.
While Rain tried to remember everything and explain what had happened, the police officer was investigating Smith's name in the system, discovering that he was a criminal and that the situation was even worse than they had imagined.
I don't want him to be one of those parents that are going through this. I feel responsible because I told him when I first met him that I was a little bit scared of him because I thought he was waiting to rob us outside the Dollar General because he was just standing there. And he said, well, if you really want that dress, then I'll go get it for her. I should have told him no. My girls need clothes so bad, that's why I let him do it, but I'm so sorry. These ladies have to put all the clothes back in the store.
After that, 2 police officers were sent to Walmart to speak with Rain and confirm Cherish's disappearance. But that was a big mistake. Since she wasn't initially considered kidnapped, the only people searching for her were the police, who had very few clues about where she might be. This ended up significantly delaying the investigation. It was only 5 hours later that they realized this and issued an Amber Alert with a detailed description of Cherish and Smith. They also provided details about his van and some of Rain's belongings that were inside, such as a blue stroller and her purchases from Dollar General. Thanks to this, several people started calling the police with numerous tips about the kidnapping. But out of all the tips, one stood out for revealing something terrifying. An anonymous caller said they were mowing the lawn at their home on Richards Road and came across a blue stroller leaning against the side of the house. The stroller seemed to match the one described in the alert, and since this man lived only a few miles from the store, there was a good chance it was the same one. But that wasn't all they found. When the police arrived at the location, they discovered 2 large trash cans filled with the purchases Rain had made at the first store. In addition, several of Cherish's belongings were also found in the trash, including her pink headband and purple slippers. Unfortunately, neither the predator nor Cherish were at the house, and these pieces of evidence led everyone there to fear that the worst had probably happened. But the police didn't lose hope, and as they continued their investigation, they found out that this case was only going to get much worse. Around 9 o'clock the next morning, another person called in about the Amber Alert, saying they had seen a white van like Smith's parked behind some bushes near a creek. Hoping that Cherish might still be alive, they rushed to the spot as quickly as possible, and luckily spotted the suspect's van driving on a nearby highway.
170 vehicle pulling over at 95 southbound at 4th Street exit. 170, I want a felony takedown. Do a felony takedown. Driver, step out of the vehicle. Face away from us. Keep your hands in the air. Stop. Take 2 steps to the left. Face away from us. Take 2 steps to the left. Put your hands in the air. Walk backwards to the sound of my voice slowly. Keep walking. Keep walking.
Unfortunately, even though they managed to find and arrest Smith, Cherish was not in the van. When they asked him where the girl was, the predator claimed that she had jumped out of the van at a traffic light and run away. This sparked hope that Cherish might still be alive, but the police immediately doubted his words because his pants were soaked. The criminal insisted that it was only because he had used drugs. But of course, the investigators didn't believe his story. After all, they knew that the suspect's van had been seen near a creek just a few miles away. After that, Smith refused to answer more questions, so hoping to get answers, they took him in for questioning. Unfortunately, this didn't work out, as once again he refused to speak to the police. So the investigators took photos of him for records and collected his clothes to be analyzed by forensics. In the meantime, he was taken to a room to wait for other officers to arrive and take him to jail. But it was right at that moment, when he was alone, that Smith admitted to all of his crimes.
Bit me, man. Bit me.
Unaware that he was being recorded, the predator confessed to his guilt, and with all the other evidence, he was quickly charged with kidnapping and taken to jail. Once inside, it became clear to everyone what a horrible person he was. While a group of young girls walked by the prison, Smith and a cellmate were caught by a hidden microphone saying disturbing things.
How old do you think I was? How old do you think she was? That's right in my alley, right there. Huh? That's my target area right there. That's what I go after. Well, you would have fun with that one. You would keep that one locked up in the basement for a while. If I saw her at the bus stop, I'd get her. Yeah, I'd like to run into her at Walmart. Cherry got some blood on her? Yeah? She ain't had nothing like that, though. That's because she ain't black. She had a lot for a white girl.
This audio is just a small part of the many horrible things he said. At another time, the criminal's mother visited him in prison, and in the recorded conversation, it's clear just how dangerous and sadistic Smith was.
I don't need I need a very simple book. Could it have happened the way they said? Yes, it could have. It could have. I was so psychotic. I was extremely. She had to go. I don't care how she had to go. That's my life. Stay right here. Your fault. Wait. Never be able to work through all this. Never. I'll never be okay. So rather than spend the rest of my life being humiliated by myself, telling all this crap in my head, I might as well just with it. Easier to just with it because I'll probably never get through it anyway. That's what my brain's telling me.
In the videos, Smith can be seen planning to fake insanity during the trial and even trying to cover up his crimes. However, in the end, this only made him appear even more guilty. Shortly after, one of the detectives who arrested him gave an interview and revealed what he thought when he was face to face with the psychopath.
What was his demeanor?
Just very, I almost say arrogant. You know, it's almost like, you know, you caught me, but you didn't stop me. You know, there was not a hint of remorse in anything. I mean, you think if he got a chance to be out on the street today, he'd be driving right down this highway looking for the next victim. Absolutely. He's not going to stop. No way is he going to stop.
Later the same day, the police brought in the K-9 unit to the creek where the criminal's van had been spotted and methodically searched the entire area. There, they found a white shopping bag along with a wet black sock. And as they followed the clues, they made a heartbreaking discovery. Cherish Periwinkle, just 8 years old, was found naked from the waist down, submerged in the corner of the river under a fallen tree. This little girl's was taken to be analyzed by forensics, and an autopsy revealed that Smith raped her several times and then strangled her to death. In addition, all the DNA samples found on her body and at the crime scene matched those of the predator. Even so, Smith pleaded not guilty and claimed that the evidence found was illegal and a violation of his privacy. Despite this, in February 2018, the chilling audio you heard and all of the other evidence were presented during his trial, and it was up to the jury to decide whether he was guilty or not. And in just 19 minutes, they all reached the same conclusion.
Reviewing the aggravating factors that we unanimously found to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt in Section A above, we, the jury, also unanimously find that the aggravating factors are sufficient to warrant a possible sentence of death, and they have marked yes.
In the end, Smith was sentenced to death and awaits his fate at the Union Correctional Institution in Ryford, Florida. Due to the gravity of the situation, 2 months after Cherish's death, a judge determined that Rain was unable to provide safety for her daughters, resulting in her losing custody of Cherish's sisters. And the worst part is that before this tragedy happened, Cherish's father went to court to request custody of his daughter. The judge even asked a custody evaluator to spend time with both Rain and Cherish's father to decide who should have custody. The evaluator recommended that the girl should live with her father, but sadly, that's not what ended up happening. On the screen, a video shows the moment police uncover the horrific secret that this mother was hiding inside a trash can.